What is good, my ninjas? This is your boy Majin, here with another NFL WeeKap for week 5. Anyways, but before I get started on it, I just want to let you know this was a historically bad week for kickers. Like, holy shit. 12 missed field goals, 13 missed extra points. Like, it was ridiculous. We'll talk about that in another video. But first, let's start off the week with Thursday night footballs. Seattle versus LA Rams. It was a decent game, but LA was dominating. While he threw for one pick, Matt Stafford, or maybe he didn't throw for a pick. Matt Stafford had one passing touchdown to Tyler Higbee, which was the only catch he had of that day. But Robert Woods was really dominating that game. It looked like Seattle was lost in the woods. Cooper Kupp still did good too. I mean, he's doing great. And the running backs also contributed too. Darrell Henderson had almost a 100-yard game, and Sony Michel had a touchdown. It was good. But Seattle was on the worst end of it. Russell Westbrook threw for an interception and a touchdown to DK Metcalf. But in the middle of the game, bam! He effed up his arm really badly and couldn't play anymore. And then his backup stepped up. And need I warn you, his backup is Geno Smith. For those who haven't followed football in like 2010 or maybe 2000, a few years ago, Geno Smith was drafted in the 2013 NFL draft class, which, while it was one of the best NFL draft class for many positions, it was one of the worst NFL draft classes for QBs, and he was the headliner of it. He led the Jets to a really awful season during his time, and I thought he was going to repeat that. But he played pretty damn well. While he did throw an interception, he also threw a touchdown, also to DK Metcalf, and was killing it. He was mounting a comeback. It was pretty impressive. We'll see how well he does while Russell Westbrook is out getting his hand worked on, as he'll be the starting QB for the Seahawks going forward. And next, we go to the London games. And the Falcons versus the Jets. Who will rule the sky? The Dirty Birds or the Blimps? We'll see. It was the Dirty Birds. They finally found their offensive rhythm. Matt Ryan had 2 touchdowns and threw it for over 300 yards. Matty Ice was looking cold again. However, the star of that game was Kyle Pitts. The tight end finally had his breakout game with over 100 yards receiving and a touchdown. He was killing it, including a really deep pass. Kyle Pitts is starting to look like the tight end that the league was hoping for him to be. And the running game, not so bad. Cordero Patterson is still being the unicorn. He's still receiving and rushing. Mike Davis has to be worried. But Mike Davis also had a touchdown and a fumble. But again, Mike Davis has to be worried because it looks like Cordero Patterson is starting to become the lead running back. And on the other hand, Zach Wilson struggled as usual, but not too bad. But it was just like, yeah, had a pick, maybe even 2. I don't remember. But the running backs were getting them back in the game with the combination of Ty Johnson and Michael Carter. Michael Carter led the way in receiving and rushing for the running back. So yeah, it was a fun time. Also, the Bears, I'm just going to do this in any order. The Bears and the Raiders, a homecoming for Khalil Mack. Well, they didn't play at the Raiders Stadium, I think. But Khalil Mack played against his old team and dominated. The Bears' defense was just swallowing up the Raiders' offense. Derek Carr couldn't get shit done. The only effective offensive weapon in that game was Josh Jacobs. And we're going to see him lead this team going forward due to relying on the running game and the confusion that's been going on due to the John Gruden situation, which we will address in another video. Darren Waller was kind of like contained, but it wasn't his fault. The receiving game as a whole was contained, and Carr was under pressure. But offensively, it was the running backs that got it done. Justin Fields didn't turn the ball over. He actually had a passing touchdown. But it was just, he didn't do super well either. He played it safe and relied on the running backs. Damian Williams, who hasn't played a season since the whole Super Bowl, when the Chiefs won the Super Bowl and he was the Super Bowl MVP, was the starting running back, and he got a touchdown and some decent yardage. But be on the lookout for Khalil Herbert. He's starting to pick up, the rookie running back is starting to look good. They're doing this as David Montgomery is going to be out for a while. 3 to 5 weeks at least. Detroit Lions versus the Minnesota Vikings. It was not really a fun match. Jared Goff didn't have much of a receiving weapon to go to, as the Vikings defense, who somewhat became a little bit more decent, was handling TJ Hawkinson, his favorite target. And DeAndre Swift was also doing as much as he can, but it contained him decently well. And even more bad news for the Lions, as Quintez Cephus suffered a season-ending injury to the collarbone. And yeah, Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift tried getting him back in this game. But on the Vikings side, Captain Kirk Cousins was just doing decent. Had a passing touchdown, it wasn't bad. He played decently well. Over 200 yards, passing touchdown. And the passing touchdown happened to go to the star of the game. Alex Madison ran for over 100 yards rushing and had a receiving touchdown. He was doing well. And Justin Jefferson is just doing Justin Jefferson things. So, yeah. Justin moving on up with the Jeffersons. And what's another game? Oh, yeah. Patriots and Houston. This game surprised me because I thought it was going to be a little bit one-sided, but a lot happened. Davis Mills, rookie QB that took over after Tyrod Taylor got taken out, killed it. For one of the few times a rookie QB against Bill Belichick's Patriots was nearly kicking his ass. Over 300 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. The complete opposite of his performance against the Bills. Like, Colin Moore, or Chris Moore, whatever that wide receiver was that was leading for them, was killing it. And he ended up moving up to the active roster due to that. And Chris Conley had some good plays. Right? If Davis Mills' performance is showing us what is yet to come, I believe Brandon Cooks is going to be fantasy relevant again. I mean, the Houston running backs aren't, like, really relevant either. But the Patriots did come back. However, it wasn't pretty. Mac Jones threw for a touchdown and an interception. But the confusion, Hunter Henry was the lead receiver of that game. Led in yardage and a touchdown. But the confusing part was the running backs. Like, holy shit. The running backs have been, almost everyone the running backs have had in the Patriots have had an instance where they went into the doghouse. And Damien Harris is the big one that's really going to stay in the doghouse. As a Damien Harris owner, I was not having fun. Like, holy crap. Damien Harris did score a touchdown and was their lead rusher, but in a what was supposed to be a touchdown leading drive, scoring another touchdown, he ended up fumbling and the Texans got the ball. This is the second time this season he did a costly fumble. Last time he had a fumble like that. He ended up costing them the game against the Dolphins. So, yeah, he's in the doghouse. And he's in the doghouse of my fantasy football team, too, because he's my second best running back. Like, you got to be shitting me. But he also exited the game with, went in and went back and went out. No, left the game, came back to the game, and left the game again due to a chest or rib injury. Ramondre Stevenson, who people had high hopes for in the regular season due to a strong preseason performance, didn't do as well. But the running game couldn't get going after Damien Harris. So we'll see if he might do something big next week, depending on the injury of Damien Harris. Also, yes, this is the first part of the WeeKap. Looks like I might have to make this a 2-part game.